Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Stephen Miller just makes mincemeat out of these know-nothing reporters who are still trying to make a national story of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Let's dive in.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. On Kilmar Abrego Garcia, could you just speak a little bit about the administration's decision to keep him in ICE detention, taking up a bed when he's already on the U.S. Marshals Monitoring Service because of the criminal trial? And also, if you could speak to the decision or the plan to deport him to Uganda. The judge in the immigration case, I should say, raised concerns about coercion with that in a hearing earlier this week.
Why would it be coercion to send somebody to Uganda?
They said it was possible coercion. They didn't make
No,
a
I'm
statement
just
on
yes.
But
It was
because
a
of
rhetorical
plea
it was a rhetorical question, which I'll address. But so first of all, this is the issue with crazy liberal judges everywhere: is people who are a clear flight risk, a clear threat to public safety, get released over and over and over again. We see that here in Washington D.C., not in the immigration context, but you see individuals all the time who are charged with extremely serious crimes. They are released on their own recognizance, and they go on to commit robbery, muggings, carjackings, murder. I mean, I've seen example after example of extremely serious felony, including homicides, where the individual would have been in jail but for the fact that they were released by a judge. Obviously, the U.S. government, with someone who is at extreme flight and public safety risk, like Garcia, we are not going to allow them to be on the street where they can engage. I mean, this is someone, as you know, who's not only a member of a terrorist organization, who's not only been accused of battery, but who's been accused of grave crimes against children. This is not someone we're going to allow to be out on the street. Now, so the point about Uganda, you just have to marvel at this. The same left-wing NGOs who tell us that we should open our borders to all the poor countries of the world also tell us that it would be unfair, improper to have anybody live in those countries. Well, if those countries don't have good systems of law and good systems of governance, then why would we want to have open migration from those countries? So these two propositions are in complete conflict. But more fundamentally, remember, Garcia has said he doesn't want to go back home to El Salvador. That's what he said. So we're honoring that request by providing him with an alternate place to live. We're not a travel booking agency. It's not our job to say to illegal alien terrorists, pick your favorite destination in the world and we'll send you a charter jet there. We have countries that have very graciously agreed to help resettle nationals from other countries, which is a great benefit to the United States. And obviously that's something that Garcia is eligible for.
Stephen, the French president has said today that if Putin doesn't have talks with Zelensky, then President Trump will have been, quote, played. Is that true? Is President Trump being played by President Putin at the moment?
Such an absurd question. President Trump has achieved 7 peace deals in 7 months. No president in history has done more to advance the cause of peace. He's been nominated by multiple world leaders for the Nobel Peace Prize. Literally no president, not just in our lifetimes, but that I can think of in American history, and no world leader anywhere today, anywhere on earth, has done more to advance world peace than President Trump. He's ended the conflict between Israel and Iran. He's ended the conflict between Rwanda and Congo, between India and Pakistan, Azerbaijan. I mean, example after example after example. And obviously he's working steadfastly to end the killing in Ukraine. And keep in mind, this is President Biden's war. It started because of President Biden, and President Trump inherited President Biden's war, and he's working steadfastly to end the killing, and that's something that everyone in the world should celebrate.
If Stephen Miller was a wide receiver, he'd be breaking ankles with his ability to turn on a dime. This is a route running clinic in debate form. He went from talking about the issues of having ICE detain Abrego Garcia, and then immediately was able to pivot over to the topic that is, well, Trump and Putin have been in talks about trying to end the war in Ukraine. Is Trump being played? And he answers them both perfectly. I'd get angry, personally, if I got moved off my spot like that. That's why I do YouTube, and Stephen Miller is actually working in the White House. But in this scenario, you're basically going from one topic without a clear movement into another. That is very difficult in the debate sphere. And the fact that Stephen Miller can just smoothly interlay between the two is brilliant. And this isn't about hyping up the president and talking about his great peace deals, because indeed, he has talked about peace deals between Congo and Uganda. But the Democratic Republic of the Congo has been in this constant state of warfare for about 30 years now. It has been an ugly business. Hey, y'all. According to new reports, central banks around the world may be buying twice as much gold as official reports suggest. Yeah, you heard that right. Twice as much. And get this, they're bypassing traditional markets and buying directly from miners in Asia, Africa, and in Latin America. That means no US dollars, just physical gold. This shift isn't just symbolic, it could be strategic. They could be looking to bypass traditional Western markets. So if central banks are scrambling to reduce their dollar exposure and own more physical gold, should you do the same? That's where the award-winning precious metals company Goldco comes in. Right now, you could get a free 2025 gold and silver kit and learn more how gold and silver can protect your savings. Just go to politibralgold.com. Plus, you could get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for starting up. Go to politibralgold.com. That's politibralgold.com. And then Azerbaijan was going up against Armenia, and they were scuffling back and forth over basically what it essentially was a highway. Then there was the Cambodia versus Thailand affair, which that has had some deep roots, and technically we kind of created part of that mess back in the 70s. Yeah, don't look up what we did in Southeast Asia in the 1970s. It's not going to lead you down a good path. But to go from that, and then originally starting with Kilmar Abreu Garcia, which the mainstream media is still fawning over this dude. I cannot believe in this day and age, when we have this great information technology, when we have the ability to look up the rap sheet of this dude, and the mainstream media is still treating him like he's some sort of sacred citizen. When the dude illegally came here in 2011 because a rival gang was threatening him. It wasn't MS-13, it was their rival in El Salvador. And now he's been caught committing multiple crimes, at least that's according to the current rap sheet. He might be able to beat those because he wasn't arrested properly the first time. He was caught in the middle of Tennessee taking on a long drive with people in the back of his truck. Human beings in the back of his truck. He got apprehended, but the Tennessee State Patrol for some reason didn't want to go through all the paperwork and the nonsense, and so they let him continue to drive all the way back out to Baltimore. This is a wild story, and the mainstream media treats this dude like he is some saintly figure, when the dude isn't. Okay, not only is he here illegally, but Democrats have worshipped at the altar of this man. It has been absolutely just insane, and quite literally a look into the crazy mind of rich white liberals who delude themselves on a constant basis. That's what's going on here in this issue, and instead of putting him in a certain detention cell here, the mainstream media is now asking, well, why has he been put in a detention cell over there? Who cares? Who cares? This whole issue to begin with was about procedure because a judge basically said, yeah, he can't go back to El Salvador because it's too safe. It's too unsafe, despite the fact that now El Salvador is one of the safest nations in this entire hemisphere. That includes here in the United States, by the way. And then they lost their minds when he was returned properly and treated like a criminal in CCOT down in that super jail in El Salvador. The mainstream media lost their minds over this, and that tells me where their souls and hearts are really at. They care more about the idea that America can and should take on all these poor, illegal immigrants and keep them here because America is just that beautiful. Folks, we don't have the room. We don't have the hospital space. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the abilities to keep all these people. I'll never forget this moment. I was an intern with the Kentucky Legislative Research Commission, and they would give us extra lessons in between times when we're actually supposed to go out and help the people in different committees and actually getting the research through. But someone asked the question of, Brian, do you like the idea of having illegal immigrants? And I just looked at them and said, well, do we have room for them? And you could hear a pin drop in the room because no one had considered that as a possible thing. No one considered the actual logistics. No one considered, it's not even whether they should or should be here. It's, can we even have them here? And all the conservatives went, wait a minute, that is a smart point. All the liberals went, oh, we'd never thought about this. That's the real issue going on with this whole debate. It's not even about Stephen Miller being able to go back and forth and stop on a dime. It's not about Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize, even though he deserved one during his first term, by the way, let alone his second. This issue isn't about that. It's about understanding why the mainstream media does what it does. It's why the rich white liberals think the way they think. They look at guys like Kilmar Abreu Garcia and they don't care about his record. They don't care that he was picked up with other MS-13 members. It doesn't matter that he has been shown to be in good standing with the terrorist-aligned gang. What matters to them is the idea that if you just keep it out of the rich white liberal neighborhoods, America can handle the problem. This mentality needs to stop, or else we're not going to have a country anymore. And that's what this topic is really about. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.